Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. So today we are unpacking a really highly anticipated piece of research. This just dropped in May 2026, titled Claw Anything, benchmarking always-on personal assistance with broader access to users' digital world. We're talking about a massive shift in how we actually evaluate artificial intelligence. We are finally moving away from just asking, hey, how smart is this AI in a vacuum? And instead, we're asking, how well can this thing actually manage the chaotic, interconnected reality of our daily digital lives? This paper gives us a really comprehensive overview of where our AI agents currently stand. And spoiler alert, there is a huge gap between our expectations and reality. Now, why do insanely smart AIs actually make terrible personal assistants? I mean, you've probably wondered this yourself, right? You've got these mind-blowing large language models that can write complex code, draft legal documents, and compose a sonnet in literally seconds. But if you ask that exact same brilliant system to proactively manage your calendar, sort through your chaotic email inbox, and coordinate a multi-step project across a bunch of different apps, it completely falls apart. It's such a fascinating paradox. We have these genius-level systems that struggle with basic, proactive daily chores. So today we're going to use the Claw Anything research to break down exactly why this happens, and far more importantly, how we fix it. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, the AI context problem. Then, introducing Claw Anything, visualizing the noise, the GPT 5.5 reality check, and finally, the training pipeline solution. All right, section 1, the AI context problem, or escaping the narrow slice. To really get why this benchmark matters so much, we first have to wrap our heads around the massive gap between how we currently test AI versus what we actually want it to do for us. Right now, it's kind of like looking through a keyhole. Most current AI systems only get this tiny, narrow slice of your world. It's like asking an assistant to organize a massive, complicated party, but you only let them peek through the venue's keyhole. They only see a partial state of what's going on. They have absolutely no clue what happened yesterday and no idea what's happening in the next room. But a true, always-on assistant, that needs the door kicked wide open. It needs broad access to anything relevant in your digital life and this really rich, continuous context to actually reason about your tasks. With that full picture, it's just never going to be truly helpful. Moving on to section 2, introducing Claw Anything, a new benchmark for the digital world. So the crucial point is how this paper bridges that gap. They introduce the Claw Anything benchmark, which blows that keyhole door right off its hinges by expanding the AI's context across 3 vital dimensions. Think of this as the paper's rule of 3. First up, long horizon activity histories. Basically, the AI can't just remember the last 5 minutes anymore. It's got to look back at months of your activity. Second, interdependent backend services. The AI has to understand that your email, your calendar, and your cloud storage are all constantly talking to each other. And third, integrated GUI and CLI interaction. This means the AI has to physically navigate graphical interfaces, literally clicking buttons, just as smoothly as it handles command lines, whether that's on your laptop or your phone. It is a massive, massive step up in scope. Let's move to section 3 and see how this builds. Visualizing the noise, simulating months of user activity. Now you might be wondering, how on earth do you test an AI on months of complex history without literally waiting months to get a result? Well, the researchers built an incredibly clever simulation. It's essentially an accelerated day in the life. Here's how it works. Step 1 is multi-round event injection. They mathematically inject events over time. So, say a calendar invite drops on Tuesday, a cancellation email comes in Thursday, a new project file pops up on Friday. Step 2, generating complex world states. By stacking all these events, they create this incredibly tangled, interconnected digital world state. Then step 3, testing proactive assistance. Because the AI is sitting on this deep simulated multi-month history, the benchmark can actually test if the agent can anticipate what the user needs and jump in with recommendations, rather than just sitting there waiting for a prompt. And this brilliantly illustrates a huge concept here, noise. Think about your own messy digital life for a second. Not every single email matters, right? Not every notification ping is an emergency. Sometimes you even get conflicting signals, like an old text with one meeting time, but an updated calendar invite with another. The Claw Anything benchmark intentionally injects this realistic noise, totally irrelevant events and conflicting signals, right into the simulation. The agents have to reason through this incredibly rich environment, but totally filter out the junk. If the AI gets sidetracked trying to process a spam email, boom, it fails the task. Which brings us to section 4, the GPT 5.5 reality check, putting current tech to the test. So we've established how incredibly tough and realistic this gauntlet is. What happens when you throw the absolute cutting edge of AI at it? 34.5%. The researchers took GPT 5.5, a total state-of-the-art model, and ran it through Claw Anything. The result was a 34.5% pass at one rate. Let that sink in. On its very first attempt, it only succeeded about a third of the time. Now, on older, narrower benchmarks, these models were absolutely crushing it with super high scores. But the second you drop them into the long horizon, messy, noisy reality of an actual always-on assistant, the performance just completely plummets. As the researchers plainly conclude in the paper, this 34.5% success rate is, quote, underscoring a gap between current agent capabilities and the demands of always-on personal assistance. And look, this isn't them just bashing the AI. It is an impartial, totally data-driven reality check. It shows us in black and white exactly how much further our language models need to evolve to go from being a neat little chatbot in a browser to a truly reliable digital personal assistant. All right, on to our final piece, Section 5, the training pipeline solution, building scalable data infrastructure. So the good news is this paper isn't just pointing out a massive problem and leaving us hanging. They actually mapped out a path forward. Alongside the benchmark, the team released an automated data generation pipeline that yielded 2,000 complex training environments. They basically built a highly scalable gym for AI models to work out in. Because the whole thing is automated, developers can instantly spin up thousands of these simulated, noisy, tangled-up digital worlds for their models to practice on. So they didn't just design the hardest test in the school, they literally wrote the textbook to help the AI study for it. And you guys, the results from that training infrastructure are incredibly promising. When they use these 2,000 training environments to help improve the base model, they saw a 23.7% jump in performance. That is a massive leap. It absolutely proves how crucial this kind of scalable data infrastructure is. Just about exposing the model to these broad context, noisy simulations, its ability to actually act like a reliable assistant improved dramatically. So, this all leaves us with one really provocative question. When will your AI truly anticipate your needs? The Claw Anything paper makes it pretty clear that while our current models, even the mighty GPT 5.5, still get totally bogged down by the daily noise of our digital lives, the roadmap to fix it is officially here. By shoving AI out of that narrow little slice and forcing it to navigate complex, multi-device, multi-month histories, we are racing toward a future where your AI isn't just passively waiting for a prompt, but is genuinely anticipating what you need before you even realize you need it. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep an eye on how these always-on agents evolve.